The Myrtles Plantation sits beneath a canopy of ancient oaks in Francisville, Louisiana, draped in Spanish moss that sways even when there is no wind. And for over 200 years it has carried a reputation as one of the most haunted houses in America. The land was first cleared in 1796 by General David Bradford, a man who fled to this quiet corner of the Mississippi River after his role in the Whiskey Rebellion made him a wanted fugitive. He built a modest cottage that would later grow into a sprawling plantation home, its wide verandas and iron grillwork giving it an air of genteel southern beauty. But beneath that beauty, according to those who have lived there, worked there, or simply spent a single night within its walls, lies a darkness that refuses to rest. The most famous story tied to the Myrtles concerns an enslaved woman named Chloe, said to have worked in the house sometime after Bradford's death, during the ownership of his son-in-law Clark Woodruff. The legend claims Chloe was caught eavesdropping on private conversations, and in punishment, part of her ear was cut off. Ashamed and desperate to win back favour, she is said to have baked a birthday cake laced with poisonous oleander leaves, intending only to make the family mildly ill so that she could nurse them back to health and prove her loyalty. But the dose proved fatal. Woodruff's wife and two of their young daughters reportedly died after eating the cake. When the other enslaved workers on the plantation discovered what she had done, fearing brutal retaliation for all of them, they are said to have dragged her from the house and hanged her from a nearby tree, then thrown her body into the river to hide the evidence. Historians have combed through records and found little to support this story as literal fact. No death certificates matching that exact sequence of events, no record of a woman named Chloe on the plantation rolls. And yet the tale persists, retold por guides and guests, for generations, because so many people insist they have seen her. A woman in a green turban, her face turned slightly away to hide a disfigured ear, moving silently through the halls or standing at the foot of a bed in the dead of night. Visitors have reported waking to find a figure watching them from the doorway, only for it to vanish the instant they reach for a light. Some guests over the years have refused to spend a second night. A few have left the property entirely, driving back into town in the small hours of the morning, unwilling to say exactly what they saw, only that they could not stay another minute under that roof. Chloe is far from the only presence said to linger at the Myrtles. Sarah Woodruff, mistress of the house and the woman allegedly poisoned by that fateful cake, is said to still walk the upstairs hallway, her footsteps heavy and deliberate on the old wooden floor, pausing outside the rooms where her children once slept. Guests staying in what is now called the Sarah Woodruff room have described the unmistakable sensation of a body settling onto the edge of the bed in the middle of the night, the mattress dipping under an invisible weight, though when they turn to look, there is nothing there. Some have felt cold fingers brush against an ankle or a wrist, gentle at first, then insistent, as though someone is trying to wake them. There is also the story of William Winter, a lawyer who lived at the Myrtles in the 1870s, and who was, according to local legend, shot on the front porch by a stranger who rode up on horseback one evening in 1871. Wounded and bleeding, Winter is said to have staggered inside and tried to climb the grand staircase to reach his wife, collapsing partway up and dying on the 17th step before he could reach her. To this day, staff and visitors alike claim to hear the sound of footsteps climbing that staircase, late at night, slow and laboured, always stopping abruptly at the same step, followed by absolute silence. Some who have tried counting the stairs themselves find that the physical staircase now has only 15 steps. The layout altered during a renovation decades ago, yet the footsteps are still heard stopping at what would have been the original 17th, as if the house remembers a geography that no longer exists. The mirrors of the Myrtles carry their own dark reputation. It's said that when Sarah Woodruff died inside the house, tradition of the period called for covering every mirror so that her spirit would not become trapped within the glass and wander the house forever, unable to find peace. But in the chaos and grief following her death, one mirror in the front hallway was allegedly overlooked and left uncovered. Visitors and photographers claim that strange things happen around that mirror to this day, faint handprints appearing on the glass from the inside, as if pressed outward by something trying to escape. Photographs taken near it developing strange smudges, shadowy figures, or the faint outline of a woman's face where no one was standing. Some staff members refuse to walk past the mirror alone after dark, and a few have said they catch movement in its reflection out of the corner of their eye, only to find the room behind them completely empty when they turn. Perhaps the most chilling accounts, though, come not from the well-known legends, but from the ordinary guests who arrive, knowing nothing of the property's history, and simply want a quiet night in a beautiful old southern inn. Couples have described being woken by the sound of a piano playing downstairs in the dead of night, a single repeated note or a fragment of an old melody, only to walk down and find the piano room empty and the instrument untouched. Children staying with their families have pointed to empty corners of rooms and asked their parents who the lady in the old-fashioned dress is, describing details of clothing and appearance they could not have known, details that match, unsettlingly, the descriptions given by psychics and paranormal investigators who have studied the house for decades. Paranormal investigators who have spent nights at the Myrtles with recording equipment claim to have captured disembodied voices whispering in empty rooms, sudden temperature drops of 10 degrees or more in a matter of seconds, and unexplained figures appearing in infrared footage where no living person stood. Doors have been recorded swinging shut on their own in perfectly still air. Motion sensors placed in supposedly empty hallways have gone off repeatedly through the night with no source ever found. Even skeptics who arrive determined to debunk the legends often leave the property admitting that something about the Myrtles defies easy explanation. Some lingering heaviness in the air, a sense of being watched from every corner of every room. Today, the Myrtles Plantation operates as a bed and breakfast, welcoming guests who come specifically hoping to encounter its restless residents, alongside guided ghost tours that walk visitors through its blood-stained history after the sun goes down. The owners themselves have never denied the stories. If anything, they have documented their own encounters over the years. Strange sounds in empty rooms, objects moved from where they were left. The persistent feeling that the past here has never truly ended. Whether one believes in spirits or not, there is no denying that few houses in America carry a weight quite like this one. Built on land, soaked in secrets, shaped by tragedy after tragedy, the Myrtles Plantation stands today as a place where the line between memory and haunting has blurred completely, where the dead, if the countless stories are to be believed, have simply refused to leave.